Okay, we're on lesson number 158 of the workbook of A Course in Miracles, and I read this lesson twice last night before I went to sleep, and again I've read it a few times this morning, and I don't do this to do the lesson or as a substitute for anyone, for everyone's need in this required course to do these lessons for themselves and to learn how to apply them for themselves and to come to their own understanding of them through the use of the Holy Spirit, because the lessons are designed to open our minds. And yet when I read this lesson, I don't think there's a better statement in the entire course that demonstrates that this is not a course in enlightenment, and using it as a course in enlightenment or revelation is in fact a misuse and misunderstanding of what this course is all about. What it's saying ultimately is, I mean, this is toward the end of the lesson. I don't know how it's mistaken. It matters not when revelation comes, for that is not of time. Yet time has still one gift to give, in which true knowledge is reflected in a way so accurate, its image shares its unseen holiness, its likeness shines with its immortal love. We practice seeing with the eyes of Christ today, and by the holy gifts we give, Christ's vision looks upon ourselves as well. The entire lesson is saying nothing but, the experience of the Father and Son as one, the revelation that the Father and Son are one will come in time to every mind. Yet is that time determined by the mind itself, not taught. I don't know if it could be any clearer that anyone who was attempting to teach this as a method of enlightenment or revelation is teaching it in direct, I don't know what you would say, opposition to what this course says, and that would be typical of the ego's use and ability to co-opt any teaching and use it for something it was not designed for. Time is a trick. It's a sleight of hand, a vast illusion in which figures come and go as if by magic. Yet there is a plan behind the appearances which does not change. The script is written. This is an attempt to show us how we can use time until the time of revelation comes. Until the revelation of the Father and the Son as one comes. Now, I'm not denying that to some of you, as has occurred to me, and as it has occurred to Jesus, that time has not come. What I am saying, though, is that experience cannot be taught because it's already been set by the mind. The script is written. What has been given, the knowledge that you are a mind in mind and purely mind, sinless forever, wholly unafraid, because you were created out of love, and love is the totality of reality. If you're created out of love and you're part of love and there is only love, then fear is impossible. So we can't even teach you what love is, because that's part of what the revelation is. But we can help you find, everyone can help each other find the blocks to the awareness of love's presence within us right here, right now, and then use a technique that has been tried and true by Jesus himself. Forgiveness, because it comes from God himself. We can use the technique that is given to us, and no one comes to go. This is one of those lines people mistake. It's the ego's associations in the mind of in people's mind are what gets them in trouble. It's not the self and it's not the teaching, but it's the associations they make. So as Jesus says, no one comes to God but through forgiveness. Now automatically people who are in denial or rejection of, let's put it directly, people who are in rejection of Jesus and his teaching mistake that and hear it as no one comes to God unless they read A Course in Miracles and learn what forgiveness is, and that's not what it says at all. What he's saying is no one comes to God except by forgiveness, so that anyone who has come to God has learned forgiveness in their own particular heart and has utilized the action of forgiveness in the coming to God, and that's what we're attempting to teach, how to use your mind in the meantime as time seems to take place, in the fashion that it seems to take place to you. And as you go along and you really utilize your mind and let this open your mind, there will be experiences of time that will cause you to change your mind about time and revisit the way you were thinking and alter your perception of time, just as it alters your perception of the world. And for a moment, you will utilize that concept to raise yourself up until the concept that you've utilized time to be requires a change as well. And that can be changed to even a higher, in a rising up sense, recognition. Because there does seem to be, based on the stratification that the ego has fostered within the condition of dreaming mind, hierarchies, degrees, aspects, and intervals, which is one of the reasons why Jesus says the miracle works all the time and in all dimensions of time. There's dimensions in time. There's no dimensions in eternity, obviously. What would be? There's no dimensions of infinity. Infinity isn't dimensional. It's a totality. It's a whole nother, it's an experience that eternity and infinity is an experience that allows the recognition of the non-existence of time in any regard to be untrue. Yet what this is saying is, yes, that's true, and you will come to know it's true, but in the coming to know, which is the time of your coming to know is set, but in the coming to know, let's utilize your mind and heart in a new way that will facilitate the shortening of the time that it takes, not in a sense that the actual time is shortened, but the intervals seem to be shorter between them because you've eliminated learning. You've eliminated the time it takes to learn something by learning it in another fashion, in a vertical moment that snips out, in a sense, takes a chunk of time in which you would have linearly attempted to progress, and you jump out of it and you get a totality of that time learning in a single instant, and now you've advanced further and faster, let's say, more efficiently. And this is what the time is said already. It appears to be quite arbitrary, and to anyone, and this is what I'll say, to anyone who has undergone an experience of revelation and awakening, it does seem to be quite arbitrary. It was as if, for me, it was as if I just happened to be in the right spot at the right time, but I never understood why I was the right person. As far as I was concerned, it was designed for someone else, and I just happened to be there at the right time in the right spot and underwent the experience. Because the humility that comes with the experience eliminates the ability for you to think that you're special in any regard and did anything whatsoever that would warrant this new understanding in the recognition of the oneness of the Father to dawn on you, because obviously you always feel like you're the last one. So it's in the sense, in my awakening, when in that initial awakening period of time that I went through. When I went through it, I came out with the recognition that the world had been awake, waiting for me to awaken, and it took me so long that everyone fell back to sleep, and I had to help the process along by taking my place in the plan. I'm sure Jesus felt much the same way when he went into the garden and was telling his apostles, Garios, awake, awake. You fell asleep. You fell asleep while I was taking the time I needed to take to wake up, to undergo my own ordeal. There's always that element in it, because the truth is, prior to your own revelation, you really have no idea who you are. And everybody's in a condition of being unworthy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, arrogance is a form of unworthiness in that sense. There is no one here who feels that they're worthy. That's what this lesson is aiming at. How we can show ourselves. These lessons through very, very, in a sense, minute incremental applications, that we are in fact still, as God created us, we are still a mind in a mind, purely mind, sinless forever, wholly unafraid. That's what we all know, but have buried deep down under all the levels of denial that have built up. That when you finally reach the end of your ability to make any more levels of denial, and you're hitting your head on the ceiling wherever you go, you begin to question what the hell is going on around here. You have received all. No one who walks the world but has received it. That was the great discovery. To me, there's to try to enumerate what you come to learn in the moment of the recognition of your oneness of the Father and the Son in the revelation. To try to enumerate them, there are way too many of them. But this is one of the things you come to know. Oh, everyone knows that. You have received all this. No one who walks the world but has received it. Of course, that's what I say. Everyone knows that. You couldn't be dreaming a dream of anything and whatsoever unless you already knew that. This is another way of looking at this lesson for people who want to say, oh, then you're nothing, you're not, you're empty, you're this, you're that, you're not real. This is another way of coming to say, no, you are already created whole and perfect. Wholeness and perfection is not nothing, it's everything. Wholeness and perfection is not empty, it's fully active and totally creative. There's no void in that whatsoever. And yet, because we have so few demonstration models, so to speak of, but Jesus, and Jesus is such sort of a religious figure, he's reduced to being a religious figure. It'd be nice if you would look at him as you look at yourself. Yeah, illusion of a man who comes to see the face of Christ and all his brothers and demonstrate that death has no reality, because life is not of the body, it's not of the world at all. Life is of God, and God is eternal, and so life is eternal, and it's infinite in its abundance. And God, in all his willingness, I learned, give what I receive, has given you everything, and the most I can do is give everything away as well. We're exactly like each other in every regard, in our totality of being whole and perfect, and our denial of the wholeness and perfection by entering into a world of space and time. I mean, the entering into the world of space and time is in fact a function of the denial. But you can't deny what's real, so you just make an unreal condition. It's not true. It only exists within the fevered imaginings of minds that rejected the knowledge that they're mind and purely mind, sinless forever, wholly unafraid, because we were created out of love. No one walks the world but has received it. It is not this knowledge which you give, for that is what creation gave. All this cannot be learned. What then are you to learn to give? Our lesson yesterday evoked a theme found early in the text. Experience cannot be shared directly in the way vision can. The revelation of the Father and the Son are one will come in time to every mind. Yet that is determined by the mind itself. So here we're going to begin to see what we can do right here in space and time without attempting to abstract ourselves, but using that which we have given ourselves and God has given us as a way to remove, let's call it, all of the illusions we've placed upon our brothers and the world ourselves by looking at them with Christ's vision. And Christ's vision sees beyond the body. It's not that you see the body not. That's one of the other errors that people try to make. Or, worse yet, judge themselves by, well, I still see bodies, I must not be doing this right. No, that's not true. There's a part in the Course that says it's not that you will see the body not. It's that you will not let your vision stop at the body and see what is behind it all. Teacher does not give experience because he did not learn it. It revealed itself to him at the appointed time. Yes. But vision is his gift. This he can give directly, for Christ's knowledge is not lost, because he has a vision he can give to anyone who asks. Here's the key: asks. He can give it to anyone who asks. And when do people ask? When they're finally sick and tired of what the body's eyes have been showing them over and over and over again, with no seeming end to what it's looking at. And the only end it has to hope for is death. He has a vision he can give to anyone who asks. The Father's will and his are joined in knowledge, yet there is a vision which the Holy Spirit sees because the mind of Christ beholds it too. Here is the joining of the world of doubt and shadows made with the intangible. Here is a quiet place within the world, made holy by forgiveness and by love. Here are all contradictions reconciled, for here the journey ends. Experience, unlearned, untaught, unseen, is merely there. Here we go. This is beyond our goal, for it transcends what needs to be accomplished. Our concern is with Christ's vision. This we can attain. Anyone who asks can attain. Christ's vision has one law: it does not look upon a body and mistake it for the Son whom God created. I never know how to teach it, but it's one of the things that when I'm asked not to lock things up, not to keep things locked up and protected, it's because the Christ shares everything wholly, and the Christ would never think that it has something that it lacks anything that someone else has, so therefore would need to get it from. Now, I don't necessarily see that with my body's eyes because I see the world around me and what's going on. Yet in my mind's eye, my spiritual eye, I recognize the reality of that, and it gives me a vision of my brothers as the Christ and opens a space for me to allow them to be that with me. If that makes any sense. And therefore I am sharing Christ's vision. As I'm sharing my vision that's been given to me through Christ as the Christ with you for a moment. It beholds the light beyond the body, an idea beyond what can be touched, the purity undimmed by errors, pitiful mistakes, and fearful thoughts of guilt from dreams of sin. It sees no separation, and it looks on everyone and every circumstance, all happenings and all events, without the slightest fading of the light it sees. This can be taught and must be taught by all who would achieve it. This is what must be taught and can be taught by all of us, and this we can achieve. The revelation of the Father and the Son, that's already set in the mind. This happens within space and time as our choice, as we ask. Today, what are we asking for? What have we received? What are we giving? That's the lesson.